So yeah, Mark, you are currently still the residing Scottish Comedian of the Year.
Yeah.
And you won that in 2019?
End of 2019. Yeah. So I'm still clinging on it because there's not been a competition since.
It's so fucking weird because if you say Marc Jennings has been Scottish Comedian of the Year since 2019 and now we're in 2021, that's true. But do you feel like you haven't actually had the full benefit from that almost? Because I know it took you to Australia, and I want to know how you like found that and stuff as well. But just there are definite benefits for being Scottish Comedian of the Year. Yeah. Definitely.
Well,
do you feel like you've reaped those rewards?
I don't think there is much benefit to it other than getting to go to Australia. Basically, that was the whole point for me. I mean, it's like out with Scotland, it doesn't mean anything, and even in the circuit, it's just. Do you know what it is? Right, it's just a kind of local comedy competition, isn't it? Yeah. The big factor for me was that obviously the promoter who runs it, like if you win it, you can get to go to Australia, and that's an amazing prize, right? Yeah. Especially for me because like a few of my other mates had done it, and one of the big things, and just in my life in general, right, was I'd basically come out of uni, spent a bit of time fucking about for a year, and then started doing comedy, right? So I've never been travelling or anything like that, really. There's a lot of stuff I've not done because I've sort of been quote unquote chasing the dream, right? And I'd always thought to myself, like my mates had went and done Camp America and they'd lived in Australia for a bit and things like that. And I'd always been really like, I would always go, oh, I should have done that.
Am I missing an experience here? Yeah,
but the hope in my head was always, even before all this Scottish Comedian Year thing, was like, well, maybe one day if I get, you know, if comedy goes well enough, I can go out to Australia and do gigs there and travel the world doing gigs, right? So the Scottish Comedian Year thing was an almost like sitcom-esque sort of prize of like, you know, it's like when they need 20 grand for some reason, it's like Battle of the Bands, winner gets 20 grand, right?
That is a fucking superb analogy. That's exactly what that fucking is.
So that was, so I mean, I did spend like 4 or 5 years effectively just trying to win Scottish Comedian of the Year so that I could go and do that in Australia. And my cousin's been over there for the last couple of years, so when he went, I'd be like, oh Mick, I'm going to hopefully
just let me get this fucking Battle of the Bands and then I'm there, Mick.
Basically, right, so, and do you know what was so odd about it, right? And this can maybe lead into things, but it's just funny how things work, right? Because so I'd ended up getting to the final about four times or something like that, right? First time was at the Barrowlands, didn't have a good set really. Next year really tried hard, really tried to work on it. Didn't happen again. Same the following year, although that was a bit of like, there was nobody at the final that year. It was weird. But in between that, so like basically all my kind of closest group of mates in comedy sort of went. And so that by the time like 2019 came round, I was already like over it. Like it didn't, like at the time I remember, like when you're an open spot and stuff, you think like, oh, if I win some not even just that, any competition, it's like you sort of try, you think it's a way, it's like a shortcut.
Of course, man.
If I win, you know, Chortle Student Award, then that's it. Or I used to think like if I win Scotty, like all of a sudden I can get all these gigs down south, right? Which you wouldn't, right? But I thought, oh, I'd get all these gigs down south and I wouldn't need to put in the fucking effort of going and doing all these open spots around the country, which I've now subsequently done.
Totally.
And like, so basically I seen it as like a shortcut, but by the time I won it, it's like I didn't care as much because I was like, you know, whatever, I just wanted to get Australia, and it's like the title is not in for me, but like what do you know what was interesting though, right? See that night at the Scottish, so in the heats and all that, you can bring your pals, and it's partly helps an audience vote, right? So there was this guy that basically just brought his pals and he got to the final, right? It's kind of mad you can do that and just play the Barrowlands. It was kind of mad. But he'd only done like maybe 5 gigs or something, and I remember seeing him and pacing about backstage, and I think he was generally like listening to like Eminem or something. It was pure 8 Mile, right? He was getting in his head, he's getting him so psyched up for this, right? And I remember seeing him, and people had been giving him a bit of shit and all that, and I remember watching him there, and I was like, I've been there, because in past years I'd made it this big thing. I've never really done well in comedy competitions because I've always sort of psyched myself out.
Yeah,
because you're trying to get yourself
rise to this occasion, sort of thing.
It's as if you're going to do a fucking boxing match or a UFC fight or something. And actually, comedy, you kind of need to be in the opposite state. You just the more relaxed you are, and the more just like you can do the thing.
Yeah.
But when you're psyching yourself, I'm going to go and fucking show them and blah 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 all that stuff. That's when you fail. And so like I think part of the reason that I done alright in that last one is because by that point I was just relaxed and I'm like, do you know what?
You'd been there, you'd experienced it, you knew what it was, you knew what that was going to be like. It wasn't this new experience. As you said, you'd been in the final for like the years before.
Yeah.
So you totally know that experience. There's nothing new there. So when you were more relaxed and was like, you know what? Because it's so fucking easy to say, but of course, like we're all fucking working comedians. We know what it's like to go in front of a room and get laughs and stuff because that's just the job. But there's just something about maybe like a final of a comedy competition. I mean, I don't fucking know, never made one. but I imagine like the attitude definitely is just it's another gig.
Yeah,
it's another gig, and I know that I'm capable of this now because I've had years of experience of that. But if you psych yourself up too much, you can put something too big on it and kind of flop.
Absolutely. And whatever you're doing, this is key in a lot of things in life, but like indifference is such an important thing. Or I would say not being too what would I say? Not being too focused on the outcome, like seeing your outcome dependent.
Yes.
Like even in a social
That's
interaction,
a good
like
point.
if you chat somebody up and you're like, oh, I really need her to like me.
Yeah.
That's when you get all stifled and you don't
100%.
act normally or when, and
100%.
that is the same as when you're in like not even a competition in comedy, but like say somebody that you respect's in the room that's not seen your set before and you're like, oh god, I want to do well in front of them.
Yeah, that's me to a fucking T. That's the one thing I think I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
But man, I think I've shot myself in the foot with that loads of just there'd be someone there that I would go, don't be fucking shit in front of them. Don't be shit in front of. But and it's such a fucked up way to think because if anyone else should be able to understand that you might be trying something new or that these gigs happen or whatever, it's another comic. Like they're going to totally be able to understand. So it is a weird mindset to have. But you're right. The more relaxed and just kind of
absolutely, and it's easy to get stuck in your head. But anyway, point being in that story, like so, I ended up winning it that year, and then obviously got to go in Australia, and then literally as soon as the Adelaide Festival ended, that was like. Corona was already starting to kind of really get serious that week. But that literally...
Were you like worried that you were going to get trapped over there? Was that...
we were, but it turned out we got it just in time. So like it literally ended. We flew home a week before lockdown. I done like 7 days self-isolation because I thought I should. And then after that 7 days, it was lockdown. But like...
were you meant to go on to do like a Melbourne or anything? Or was
no. That got cancelled though, but we weren't meant to be doing that. But what I thought is mad is that like... what a weird coincidence that I'd basically spent these last couple of years, and see if I hadn't won that year and I was waiting to the next year, which obviously didn't end up happening. I was like, I am the fucking luckiest cunt alive because I'm like, I've been working towards that for years, and then literally finally got it, got to have the whole experience, time of my life, and then as soon as it's over, it's like, right, the world has ended.
That's like a fucking movie, isn't it?
Yeah, but I sort of think like, when you've got a goal and you're working towards something, sometimes, the world has a weird way of shifting to make it happen. Yeah. And I'm not saying like the entire coronavirus was just waiting for me to come back to Australia.
Sounds like that's a bit what you say, but
yeah, but I just think it's I'm like, that was cool that I actually got to do that.